CJ Stroud only has eyes for his running back here. It's 3rd and 13 against the Indianapolis Colts. Stroud had a clean pocket, but after checking the coverage downfield initially, he immediately looked for his check down. But fortunately, Stroud doesn't throw the ball with his eyes, because while he's staring that running back down, it's only to move the linebacker out of the passing lane. He never actually looks up. This is a no-look pass. The receiver has to make a great effort to go down and get the ball, so the throw itself isn't necessarily great, but that's because he threw it blind. Throwing it blind was the only reason the offense had any chance of getting the first down. Here is the wider look at the play. You can see the defense sits back in coverage, and the offense has 2 vertical routes with the post route on the near side of the field. You can't manipulate the coverage to create an opening for the vertical routes, but that linebacker is the only one stopping Stroud from hitting the post route in space. 3rd and 13s are hard to convert in any scenario. They're particularly difficult when the defense plays perfect coverage and the quarterback is a rookie. Of course, Stroud isn't your typical rookie. It's 3rd and 4. Bobby Slowick is going to use 2 flat routes from the backfield to stretch the coverage horizontally, while attacking the seams from the outside with routes that slant to the middle of the field. He complements those routes with a curl route to create great spacing in the offense. We're switching to the end zone angle to see Stroud's eyes more clearly. During his drop back, his eyes are on the linebackers in the middle of the field. Number 44 is Zaire Franklin. He's the key read for Stroud. His eyes aren't on the quarterback. He's turned his back to the wide side of the field so he can focus on the 3 receivers on the narrow side of the field. The linebacker to Franklin's right is mirroring his actions, while the slot cornerback to his left is showing man coverage posture on the running back releasing into his route. All of these factors combine to create a window for Stroud to hit his slanting receiver coming from the left side of the defense. His processing speed allows him to exploit the coverage and beat the pass rush that was coming through his right tackle. The mental acumen and timing is complemented by strong ball placement to create a big play. Nico Collins helps by thriving after the catch too. Stroud consistently shows great comfort working the middle of the field. The Atlanta Falcons won't show it before the snap, but they're going to play 2 deep safeties with man coverage underneath here. Since it's 1st and 10, the Texans aren't under pressure to push the ball downfield. Stroud has a high-low route combination over the middle that he can use to attack the coverage. By using these routes together to attack different levels of the same area of the field, Stroud has a simplified read. He can see all 3 relevant defenders in the same line of vision. He's set up to read their posture. Stroud understands their leverage will create space over the middle between the linebackers and the safeties. The end zone angle shows us that the Texans' right guard is being pushed back into Stroud's lap. He isn't put off by that hint of pressure as he delivers an accurate ball to his receiver downfield. Tank Dell runs through the catch point and extends the play after the catch to gain 25 yards. That play is a sign of an offense that is executing efficiently in every facet. It's a big play that looks like it came very easily, and it did in truth. This is 3rd and 2 against the Arizona Cardinals. Let's roll this play on so that we start with Stroud in his first read. Stroud's eyes open to the right where he has a wheel route working down the sideline and a curl route that released from the slot. He can see both receivers on his first read. Neither are open. Slowick is again attacking one area of the coverage with multiple receivers to simplify the offense for his quarterback. He can see his first 2 receivers in the same line, and by the time those routes develop, his 3rd receiver has worked across the field to become his next option close by. From the end zone angle, we can see that this means Stroud doesn't have to adjust much to come off his first read, but critically, that crossing route isn't open. It's 3rd and 2, so Stroud only needs 2 yards. He understands this, and continues through his progression to locate his backside receiver uncovered over the middle for the first down. He cycled through his progression expertly here to keep the offense on the field. One of Stroud's most impressive plays of the season was this 3rd and 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before the snap, the Steelers don't hide their intention to blitz their slot cornerback. The cornerback is pressing the offensive line while the safety moves over the top into a man coverage alignment. Stroud's slot receiver is running a shallow out route, the perfect route to beat that blitz and beat the safety for the first down. So given all that information, Stroud immediately looks in that direction when he catches the snap. But he sees the defender bailing out and the safety staying deep. The Steelers' obvious blitz look turned out to be a disguise. When we roll the play on a split second more, you can see the potential for disaster. The Steelers are playing cover 2 and the outside cornerback is alert to the likelihood of an interception thanks to the disguise. He's stepping forward as Stroud is in his throwing motion. Stroud does throw into that trap, but he sees the cornerback early enough to place the ball on his receiver's inside shoulder instead of leading him to the sideline like he would have if the safety was covering him. That intelligent ball placement protects the receiver, avoids the interception, and gets the first down. Most rookies throw an interception in that scenario, an interception that can very easily turn into a pick 6 because of where the ball is thrown to. The Jaguars are going to hide their blitz until a split second before the snap here. It's not obvious that anyone is coming, and this is a moment before the play begins. But the safety on the narrow side of the field will check his feet just as the ball is snapped and sprint forward. That safety blitzing puts the rest of the defense in cover 1. That's one deep safety in zone coverage and everyone else playing man coverage. page. That means that Nico Collins at the bottom of the screen is working against single man coverage in space. Stroud checks the safety, sees the rotation, hits the top of his drop, and the ball is immediately coming out. The safety never had a chance of closing the space between them in that time to sack him. Seeing the blitz early allowed Stroud to maintain his timing and then follow that up with a precision throw so that Collins didn't have to break stride as he caught the ball. That's another first down throw made to look easy because of Stroud's brain. No matter what defenses threw at Stroud mentally last season, he had the answer. That's not to say he never made a mistake, but he proved his proficiency in beating every kind of defensive play call, from disguised 4-man rushes and blitzes to 3-man pass rushes designed to bait him into a bad decision. His poise and comfort working NFL pockets proved to be one of his greatest strengths, which is somewhat of a surprise because he didn't regularly work in NFL-like pockets at Ohio State. This play is designed to attack the space between the linebackers and the deep safety with a frontside slant route. The receiver is tight to the formation, the play action widens the gap in the coverage, and the quarterback gets an easy throw on his first read. But this defender plays the design perfectly, putting him in position to intercept any ball thrown to Stroud's first option. The quarterback only has one other receiver out in the route, and he's running a slow developing route on the opposite side of the field outside the numbers. Stroud doesn't panic with the pocket closing around him. He resets slightly to his right where there is more space, and then unleashes a perfectly thrown ball downfield so that he hits his receiver as he comes out of the break of his deep comeback route. Giving up that play is so frustrating for the defense because it's so difficult to stop that initial quick hitter off of play action. You never expect to cover that initial route and still give up a big play. Stroud converted a lot of third downs from behind the down and distance for a rookie, and his ability to reset within the pocket was the foundation of his success. Let's look at a pair of 3rd and 6 plays from different games. First up, it's the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are playing zone coverage and rushing 4 players after the quarterback. None of Stroud's routes are going to come open early in the play, and the Broncos pass rush is closing the pocket around him rapidly. He has no quick outlet at the top of his drop. From the end zone angle, we can see how quickly the pocket closes around Stroud. The first green circle shows what it looks like during his drop back, and the second much smaller circle is what it looks like at the top of his drop back. Stroud manipulates the right side defensive end by making as if he's going to step up and scramble out of the pocket, but then resetting to his left. This movement bought him time and created some space for him to throw the ball downfield cleanly. That movement also changed the picture of the routes downfield. His receiver running the seam route on the right side had continued downfield while the safety to that side bought him the crossing route inside of him. That left him wide open. Stroud had recognized the potential for this before he moved off the top of his drop, allowing him to maintain the timing of the play when he reset. That's an extremely high level play for a quarterback to make, especially when you're a rookie backed up against your own end zone on 3rd and 6. 7 Jaguars defenders line up at the first down line on the second 3rd and 6. They are prioritizing throws past the first down line, anticipating Stroud's aggressive mindset showing up here again. You can see the linebacker in the middle of the field turn his back to run with the seam route, while 2 more defenders stay in zones over the middle. This mixture of coverages creates some hesitation in Stroud in the pocket. Fortunately, his pass protection is good so he can take his time. He misses his receiver open at the first down line on a curl route, but relocates him once he escapes the pocket by keeping his eyes downfield. It's another strong awareness play, even though the initial coverage caught him off guard somewhat. Part of that comfort for Stroud is his understanding of coverages and his understanding of the leverage of the individual defenders within coverages. On this 3rd and 8 against the Tennessee Titans, Stroud hits the top of his drop and sees the defense playing cover 2. Nico Collins is isolated on the narrow side of the field to his right, so he draws the sole attention of the safety to that side, with the defender trailing underneath him. He's effectively double teamed. But Stroud can see that the underneath defender is shaded to the inside, and so is the deep safety. If you look at Collins, he's outside the numbers, whereas the safety is inside the numbers, and the cornerback is standing on the 2. Stroud was at the top of his drop, but he takes a further step back to change the angle to his receiver slightly. That extra beat allows Collins to turn outside, and the window to get the ball to him is now clearly there. From that position, he makes a perfect throw for the first down. Stroud makes a similar throw against the Colts on this 3rd and 8. The Colts are directly double teaming the receiver to the top of the screen this time. There is one deep safety who is cheating to the opposite side of the field and everyone else is in man coverage. But a key detail here is that the linebackers are going to swap assignments as the play develops. That means Robert Woods can sprint forward through the stem of his route and prevent the inside linebacker from ever getting square to him. The linebacker is never on top of the slot receiver. He's always on the inside, and the safety over the top hasn't drifted wide either when Woods is about to turn towards the sideline. So again, Woods is effectively double teamed, but he's also open because of the leverage in the route he's running. Stroud understands this and hits him past the first down line for the 19-yard completion. Understanding leverage puts you one step ahead of the defensive backs chasing your receivers in their routes. Having a big arm and understanding leverage opens windows that otherwise wouldn't be there. That's what we see on this 3rd and 10 play against the Carolina Panthers. Through his drop back, Stroud's eyes go left and that holds the safety to that side. This is a crucial detail even if it's not done purposely by the quarterback. In theory, the primary defender is in perfect position to cover the post route running in behind him. He should be able to work sideways with the receiver and intercept any ball thrown in that direction. But Stroud knows his momentum is moving him in the opposite direction, and his posture won't allow for a quick turn. That, combined with the other safety widening during Stroud's drop back, creates a window for the quarterback to attack. By reading that leverage, Stroud can release the ball early enough to beat that defender to the spot with his throw. The window he fits the ball into is tiny and only open for a split second. And yet, his receiver, although never technically open during the play, gets a completely uncontested catch. You can't defend that play from the quarterback unless you sack him at the top of his drop. With his arm talent and intelligence, Stroud can make any throw, and he has the mindset of a quarterback who knows it. This 3rd and 17 against the Cardinals perfectly captures who he is as a passer. The Texans are sending 3 receivers vertically to attack the first down line. The other 2 eligible receivers stay in to block before leaking out as checkdowns in either flat. When the play begins, the Cardinals make their intentions clear. They drop all 7 coverage defenders to the first down line and spread them across the field. Nobody is open. Stroud has a clean pocket, but he relocates outside of it, breaking the protection his offensive line gave him and putting himself at the mercy of the pass rush. At this point of the play, you'd assume he has to take the check down in the flat just to avoid the sack. Stroud doesn't do that. He moved out of the pocket and broke his protection on purpose to change the angle he could throw to Nico Collins' out route downfield. By doing that, the ball arrives directly to Collins without having to go past the face of the defensive back covering him. It's a great throw and an extremely aggressive decision that created an unlikely first down. The NFL is currently plagued by quarterbacks who are only too happy to take that check down as soon as it's given to them. We need more quarterbacks like Stroud to break the mold and the monotony that threatens this sport on a macro level. We need gunslingers. The New Orleans Saints disguised their 3rd and 4 blitz very well here. 6 players are going to sprint to the quarterback at the snap, which will force his running back to stay in pass protection. The Texans use a triple bunch to the top of the screen with the isolated receiver working inside from the bottom of the screen. The drag route holds a deep safety in the middle of the field, creating single coverage for Nico Collins on his corner route. Stroud was looking for that corner route before the play even began. He wanted it when he saw the single high safety. As soon as he saw man coverage at the snap, he hit the top of his drop and began his throwing motion. He was rightfully not concerned with looking the deep safety off. That speed of action and decisiveness allowed Stroud to beat the blitz comfortably, and he complemented it with a beautiful throw to Collins. The play gained 24 yards and was made to look very easy. You'll see quarterbacks across the league default to the drag route here simply because it's the shorter throw against the blitz. The drag route wasn't open, and even if it was, it would have been an opportunity missed. That wasn't the best corner route that Stroud threw during his rookie season though. That play came against the Buccaneers. It's 2nd and 10, but the down and distance is irrelevant here. The Texans are driving for a game-winning score at the end of the 4th quarter. They need yards and they need them fast. Tank Dell is the receiver running the corner route to the top of the screen. He releases into his route and gets downfield in a hurry, but the Buccaneers are essentially in prevent defense at this point. They're prioritizing all deep throws. So long as the outside cornerback sinks far enough, the corner route isn't an option for Stroud. Let's switch to the end zone angle to see how Stroud solves that problem. With his arm talent, Stroud only needs the outside cornerback to take one bad step in his drop for that window to come open. It's hard to see, but Stroud shapes as if he's going to throw to the underneath route just before he begins his throwing motion to fit the ball into his corner route. This is an insane throw that you don't expect to see from any quarterback in the NFL, even the most talented ones. Bobby Slowick's offense is great at creating wide open windows on shot play designs and yak opportunities for Stroud's receivers to get easy big gains. But when the defense anticipates the play call, Stroud can find himself with only a couple of receivers running routes downfield into a crowd of defenders. That normally gives him nowhere to go. That's what happens on this 3-play route play call against the Cincinnati Bengals. Stroud executes the play fake in the backfield, then his eyes go to the post route to his right side. He wants that throw and lingers his eyes on it for a moment, but he knows the safety in the middle of the field is waiting to break on the ball if he throws in that direction. Stroud flips his eyes to the opposite side of the field. His seam route was covered throughout the play, and his curl route was also tightly covered initially. The seam route is redirected into the end zone now, pulling the outside cornerback, number 22, downfield. That isolates the curl route receiver with the defender covering him. That receiver makes a good adjustment to move down the sideline, but the window is still minimal for Stroud to throw into. Slowick's favourite play call throughout this season has been a two-route shot play from a condensed formation where one receiver streaks deep downfield and another receiver runs a deep crossing route behind it. More often than not, it leads to a wide open throw from a clean pocket for Stroud, but that's not what happens on this occasion against the Jacksonville Jaguars. When Stroud hits the top of his drop, he has both edge rushers closing on him. He has to climb through the pocket to buy time for the routes to develop downfield. When he does that, he's forced to drift to his left. That's a problem because his routes are going to his right. Stroud finds himself in a position where he has to make a very difficult touch throw. He has to flight the ball over the linebacker dropping in his underneath coverage, but not overthrow it so that the arriving deep safety can break up the catch point or even intercept the ball. Of course, not only does he do that, he makes it look easy while doing so. That touch throw also required Stroud to throw the ball when his receiver was still relatively early in his route working across the field. You see his ability to throw in anticipation to a spot more clearly on this deep out route against the Titans. Collins is only entering his break as Stroud is beginning his throwing motion. This means that the ball is going to arrive to the receiver as he comes out of his break, which is the point in the route where he is most likely to have space away from the defensive back covering him. The defensive back covering Collins actually has good coverage. He's right there. The ball just beats him. What makes this throw even more impressive is that Stroud threw it under pressure, so he's anticipating the break and beating the pass rush while also making a deep throw with the precision of a darts player. The Arizona Cardinals secondary suffers a similar fate on this play as Stroud will complete a downfield throw despite the coverage being largely excellent. We're stopping this play a moment before Stroud begins his throwing motion. Everyone is covered. The only receiver who even has any space is the outbreaking route to the top of the screen, but the defender behind him is waiting to break on the route if the ball is thrown in his direction. The end zone angle reveals that Stroud is looking for his dig route over the middle in front of the deep safety. That receiver is inside the cornerback covering him, but hasn't gained any separation from him. Stroud treads the needle to get the ball to him and not lead him into a dangerous hit from the arriving deep safety. Slowick makes great use of triple bunches to manipulate coverages and set up opportunities for his quarterback. On this occasion against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are going to specifically target the outside cornerback with their route combinations. The three bunched up receivers release in different directions. The crossing route takes away the deep safety, leading him to the middle of the field. The tight end's flat route occupies the underneath outside defender, pulling him forward, and the outside cornerback is left in off-man coverage against his receiver. He is only focused on his assignment, but he can also see the other routes developing around him. He knows that in this scenario, a curl out is a very common play call for his receiver. He can also see Stroud in the pocket in his eye line as he watches Tank Dell close towards him. Stroud pump fakes just as his receiver slows as if he's going to run a curl route, and then he begins his throwing motion in time with Dell accelerating upfield. The defender is still deeper than his receiver, but his posture is set up to come forward to stop the curl route, not turn backwards over his left shoulder and run with the receiver downfield in his route. The throw that Stroud pulls off is perfect once again. In terms of arm talent, Stroud is very similar to Trevor, making him one of the most difficult quarterbacks to defend in the NFL. The question will be how much Bobby Slowick's anticipated departure impacts him moving forward, and does he adapt once NFL teams have more tape to study on his tendencies. He's going to have more difficult challenges than his rookie season moving forward, which may sound counterintuitive, but he's now put himself in the spotlight for a lot of these teams next season. Either way, the NFL is at its most exciting when it has quarterbacks like CJ Stroud in it. We need more players like him.